Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It's Friday night and we're going to create some art. I see Marble's already in the chat. That's great. This is going to be a fun night, I hope. It is Friday night, so I always try to have fun on Fridays. So what are we working on tonight? Well, earlier in the week, I did one of my messy charcoal pictures, and that was a lot of fun. And then I kind of followed it up with another one. And I kind of enjoyed both of them, so I want to try to go for the trifecta and do one more this week, and then maybe next week I'll get back into like trying to do the watercolors. But yeah, this week it's been all charcoal, so I'm going to try another charcoal portrait. Hopefully that's fine for you guys. I know that I enjoy doing them. I hope you guys enjoy watching them as well. Hey Jason, nice to see you. See you. Every night. Yeah. It might be every night. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm just gonna jump right in. Feel free to chat with me in the little chat box, whichever direction it is, and hopefully you guys can have a good time. All right. So yeah, I got my paper laid out. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, yeah. So I've been hanging up some art back. Well, most of my stuff goes up there. I've got a ton of pictures that I ran out of room, so I shoved them in like a little drawer over here. Like the ones I don't like that much. These are some of my more favorite ones. But yeah, I hang the art up, and like I think I dumped a bunch of them around like June, just because like that's the half-year mark. So I think I'll maybe hang up 6 months worth of art and then trash it all. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, so I'm gonna jump right into this. I'm glad you guys are here tonight. This is a messy charcoal picture, so I got to remember, like, remind you guys that there is like a messy, like, ugly phase to it. So usually I just start by kind of scribbling, and this one's kind of like a portrait where her face is kind of like looking up to the side. So I kind of want to try to capture some of these angles in my messy art. So like she has a neck and her her she's kind of off to the side, like not exactly centered. So anyway, so I try to put some of that stuff in my thing just to get it going. Now, again, the purpose behind this is one because it's fun, like it's fun getting your hands dirty and making a mess. But the other purpose to it is that you're kind of laying down like a tone that you can kind of work with as you go along. But it's mostly because it's fun. Like I like making a mess. It's really cool in the time lapses to watch it go from a mess to kind of like develop into a an actual picture. Um, yeah, I like to say develop because it is a lot like developing a photo as it kind of comes together. So anyway, I'm not really paying a lot of attention here. I'm just kind of like going for like the big shapes in the picture, um, and kind of deciding where everything might go, just kind of like in general. So I know that like her neck is going to come down, and then I'm looking at the reference picture, but I know that many of these lines are probably going to move. Like every time I do this, I like kind of mess up something and I have to move something around and stuff. That's all part of the normal process. So anyway, now that I've got all this big mess, I like to just kind of blend it out, which is more of the mess. But this kind of gives you like a tone to kind of like work with. Um, I mentioned before that it's kind of like sculpting. So like this is the rock that you would sculpt away at, and it always leaves your fingers messy. Now there's other ways to do it. Obviously, you could use like a brush or something like that, and it'd probably come out smoother. But yeah, I just like to get my hands dirty. It's a lot of fun. Oh, okay. Yeah, so like I've been checking out some of your stuff, like Marvel. It's kind of cool. Like you pretty much draw every day, don't you? So at this point, you try to kind of pull out some form from it. So like this, I know that her forehead would be up here. My concern here when doing this is kind of trying to match the tilt of her head, which I've not always been successful at in the past. Like I'm sitting here looking at it from an angle already, so it's a little bit challenging. But anyway, that's part of the fun, Like the training is like practicing things you're uncomfortable with so that like the more you practice, you become comfortable. Anybody who's ever like taken up an instrument or something like that would know what I'm talking about. So this I imagine is basically where her cheekbones would be. And then I think the angle of her nose is going to be a little bit further over, but it's going to kind of come down like that. So I mentioned before, like when working on these, that's cool. Have you ever tried one of these messy charcoal pictures, Marble? I think you'd be good at. Um, so I've mentioned before that you know, part of the challenge here is that you're looking at this mess, right? And you're trying to find a face in it, kind of like I don't know, like people stare at the clouds or people look at, you know, just like random patterns, like random noise and try to get patterns out of it. There's a term for it. I always butcher the pronunciation. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but it's like pareidolia or something like that. Um, if people are interested, I can like link to it in the comments. But um, you know, and I've said this before, so it's probably like reiterating it for you guys. But um, it's basically the human's capacity to find shapes in like just random noise, and it's kind of like a survival thing. We developed it so that we can like look into the woods and see that there's a bear there, or like a wolf or something that's going to eat us. Um, like we're actually really good at it. We find shapes in all kinds of things, and that kind of is one of the tools in like an artist's belt. But yeah, here I mean I am not really concerned about where making the shapes look like realistic or anything like that. I'm a little bit concerned about like highlights and shadows and stuff, but not even so much that because I can always come back and add more charcoal to create more shadow or like erase things just to create more light. I'm definitely not looking for a likeness at this point. I'm just looking for, you know, the Mary in the or the Jesus in the toaster or something like that. You know, like where you see a the Mary in the water stain or something. I think that was what they used on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But one of my favorite shows. It's a lot of fun. But anyway, point is that you're trying to create something that kind of like jogs your imagination so that you can see what it's going to be before it becomes that. I think that's a good way to put it. Like I can already see that her neck is too wide here, so I want to take some of that off. And then create some like negative space over here. Because like her torso is here, and then she's kind of looking, well, she's looking up, but her head is tilted. Like if I just stopped here, you guys would be like, man, that's the worst picture I've ever seen. But it does develop, you know. Basically it requires like a bit of a commitment. Like keep at it until it becomes something. So I do think her eyes are gonna be around here, so I'm gonna work on that just a little bit. Um, there's some highlights too. This is like the part above her eye. Her eyebrow will basically come across like this. I think that's a good way to put it. Hopefully you guys had a great week and are looking forward to the weekend. I know I am. It's been a long week for me. I feel like I say that every Friday, but this week, yeah. If you looked at my my to-do list, it was rather lengthy this week. But I got most of it done. I'm happy with where I'm at. Like I created 3 pieces of art this week, not just the two that I usually do. I want to get back into creating art every day. That's my goal. There's some art challenges coming up for like the fall where people do that. They create art every day, and I'm gonna I'm gonna try to participate. So I think this is where her hairline would be, and that would be kind of like the edge of her forehead, and then I think it kind of comes down like that. I don't want to get too nuts on framing it yet, but I think that that like two lines helps me kind of like figure out where their face is. So like you can kind of already see some hair developing. You see a basic face kind of showing up. Now, some of my other portraits that I did this week, they were a little bit darker. I kind of want to go a little bit lighter on this, but I'm not going to box myself in. If she's got dark skin tone, that's just the way it's going to be. So I want to kind of whiten up her eyes. This never looks good. Like her eyes never look good until it starts really getting there. So the distance between her eye and her eyebrow, I think is about that. But it's a lot of fun to make these. I like how like even though they're like really messy and really textured, they come out in some way looking smooth as well as it goes along. At least like the highlighted parts. Last weekend of summer, oh no. Oh no. Does that mean we're not going to see you as much? Or are you still going to be able to tune in? Man, I remember school. That's a drag. That sucks. I'm sure it's not that bad. Like the older I got, so this is a true story. So I always hated school. Like any excuse I could get to get out of it, like I was there. Like um, this is not advice, so don't say, well, Jeremy said he did it. But I used to skip school a lot and just not even go. That's how much I hated school. Um, but the funny thing is, the older I got, the more I actually enjoy learning. And if I had to do it all over again, knowing what I know now, oh, okay, all right, Jason, that's cool. Yeah, my email is on my contact or about page, I think, like the tabs up top, or just hit me up in Discord or something like that. I mean, even if it's just a fun idea, something to draw during one of these live streams, I'm up for that. Like some people give me suggestions sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. Why not? It's a lot of fun. Sometimes when I'm looking for inspiration, I go on like Reddit and just there's a subreddit called Draw Me, and I just pick somebody from that. So I'm not too particular on what I draw. I'm just practicing drawing and stuff like that. So whatever I draw, I mean, as long as it's not like weird or something like that. I mean, that's not true. I draw some pretty weird things sometimes. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Marvel, I was just kidding. Like, you don't have to be here. Like I was just thinking about that. Like, because like I started this stream back when, a lot of well, school was out, right? It was wintertime. It was January. So, um, I'm just kind of curious how that affects like the people on YouTube. Like, as school starts up, like, do they spend more time on YouTube, less time on YouTube? I'm just curious. Anyway, like I was saying, like, I mean, I hated school growing up. Like, honestly, when I was a kid, and as an adult, the more opportunities I have to pick up some new skill or learn something new and stuff, I treasure that now. It's so weird the change. 'Cause I hated school. I hated it so much. I hated being there. I hated going there. I hated eating lunch there. Oh, it's just, and it was every day too. Like it'd be better if it wasn't like every day. Like they split it up or something. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of like decide where I want these eyes to be because this lack of eyeballs is going to drive me nuts. Let me get a different pencil. Oh, cool. Hey, Rome. Well, I appreciate that. Hopefully, I never disappoint. I try to keep it interesting. Um, no offense to any of you guys, but I'm doing this mostly for myself so I can get better. But because I do appreciate you guys tuning in and watching and stuff, I really try to keep it entertaining and give you guys some interesting things to watch. Like I know like sometimes these pictures I do, they're not all that exciting and stuff. I mean, I pick them mostly because I want to like practice something. But if there's ever anything that you guys want to see me do, I mean, like at least during the live streams and stuff, I'm happy to cater to the audience. So you guys let me know if there's anything in particular you guys want to see. I know that when I did that charcoal picture on Tuesday, actually, like you guys giving me feedback and stuff, that keeps me motivated. Like that charcoal picture I did on Tuesday got some pretty good response. And that encourages me to do more. I think that's about where I would be, and then I think the edge of the shadow here. So like I said, like even though I erase some of this stuff, I can pencil it back in. So I think this eye over here is going to start right around here. And I'm going to smooth this out and make it look better, but I just wanted to kind of get it started. Because I want to remind myself which way she's looking. And that's kind of what you do as you're like, just kind of toying with it and working the shadows and highlights. You kind of put in these like little starter points, right? Just so that it kind of anchors yourself a little bit. Um, they're nice little cheats. But what I think is fun about this is doing the messy charcoal picture. You're kind of forced not to use some of the stuff that people recommend for people who are just starting out drawing. So like, they tell you to start with an oval and add a bunch of lines for where the eyes are going to be. Like, that's all great. But I mean, I don't want to do it that way. I want to like get better at proportions by, kind of measuring mentally distances between different things and stuff like that. So, um, I like to go my own way. And creating a big old mess, I think is a really fun way to do that. Now, the way her face is like tilted and everything here, this is a little bit challenging for me just because I'm not used to drawing faces this way. So I can't just rely on like things that I've done before. I have to draw shapes that I'm unfamiliar with and get everything right. So if I take a little bit more time on this one, it's because I'm not familiar with this particular kind of like tilt of the head and the shapes that it renders and so on. I know this looks like a mustache. It's not a mustache. I said there was an ugly face to this, guys. He's not meant to look like um, who's got a mustache? Nick what's his last name? Nick Olst over yeah, that one guy. I'm terrible with names. That one guy from Parks and Recreation. You guys know what I'm talking about. He was in um he was in The Last of Us too. And I think that's pretty good just to kind of orientate myself on where things are. Now I can start lifting some more. Hey, Astrospace. We're doing a messy charcoal picture tonight. What that basically means is we draw a big old mess and then try to find a face in it by adding to and removing some of that charcoal, smoothing things out, kind of figuring out where things are in real time rather than sitting down with like a ruler and measuring it out. It's fun. I enjoy it. Hopefully you guys do. I think this weekend's going to be fun for me. There's an art fair in town, like one of the bigger ones. I go to it every year. It kind of marks the end of summer for me. I'm really looking forward. I mean, I'm not looking forward to the end of summer. That sucks. But I am looking forward to going to the art fair. Let's see. Okay, so her nose kind of comes out like here, and then this would kind of come down here, and then it would kind of come back in a little bit. Got a lot of work to go. A lot of work on this one to get it right. Might have drawn too much of a mess. It comes together though. Not always perfect, but usually it does. All right. So regarding her neck, I think that comes in around here. And then I don't know what kind of shirt I'm going to draw on her or something, but that kind of starts around here. So let me lift up some of this stuff to create some white space so that I know where her neck stops and the rest of her begins. So, all right, so the neck kind of comes off more of an angle. Somewhere around here. And then her mouth, let's see. Okay, so her nose is going to end right around here. And that comes down to her mouth around here. So you make these little marks and they're kind of like waypoints on a map. They kind of let you know that okay, like when I'm creating the curve of her lip, I have to make it match up here because then it's in proportion to these other pieces in the picture. I don't know. That's just the way I do it, and it seems to work out. And then I can extend her lips over to that. And then I know that all of this stuff here can be kind of removed or at least lightened up. And you can, like, if you go back, you can kind of see, like, it's definitely a face-taking shape. It's not quite where I want it to be. It's probably not going to be for quite some time, but we're getting there. Yeah, this art fair I'm going to this weekend, it's a lot of fun for me. I go there looking for inspiration because there are some phenomenal artists out there in my neck of the woods. And we all steal from each other on ideas, I think. Like, you see something that somebody else did and you're like, wow, that's really cool. Now you make it your own. You don't just copy paste it and stuff, but you do get ideas from people. Like, I'm hoping to go there and get some ideas for some landscape pictures because I don't do a lot of those. And I think the reason why I don't do a lot of landscape pictures is because I don't I don't like go anywhere that's really interesting. Like there's a saying that like if you want to be a better photographer, stand in front of more interesting things. And I think that's the same for artists. Like if you want to be a better artist and you're like a landscape person, stand in front of like yeah, I mean go to places that are pretty, right? So like go to the Grand Canyons, go and stand by the ocean or something like that. Travel, go to Europe. Um, there's not a lot of interesting things around here. There's like horse farms, which I hope to do before it gets too cold. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. Maybe I'll go out and find some horse farm somewhere and draw a picture or something. So her mouth is slightly open, so this is going to be a bit of a challenge because it's awkward for me to draw that kind of thing in this style. But I'll work with it. Yeah, the art fair is going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Plus, it's just something to do. I'm always looking for something to do. I don't get bored easily, but also Like, I'm always wanting to do something. I don't want to sit around doing nothing. I don't do nothing much. I'm always trying to keep busy. Or, other people try to keep me busy. That's the way I should put it. Like I always have something to do. All right, so I'm gonna kind of try to smooth some of this out because like her where her neck and her chin kind of connect should be nice and smooth. And this area of her cheek should be smooth. Like once you know where everything is, that's when you can start kind of like refining everything. And this is really where like things start to like smooth out and take like a realistic form, I think. So like I know that around her mouth, let me go ahead and work on her lips a little bit, smooth some of that out. Like all of this should be shadowed through here. I might have to lift some of this up. Gonna get closer to the edge of her face, I think. Yeah, I think that's about right. And that kind of comes in. And I think I had her cheek a little bit out there. Gotta be careful not to like smudge this stuff. But yeah, that's the major thing I'm doing this weekend. And then like I kind of had it on my list last weekend, but it didn't really happen. I still want to see that Ninja Turtles movie because that looks awesome from like an artistic standpoint. I was gonna go see that last Saturday, but I got busy. Chores, mowing the lawn, things like that. So you create some shadow and then you dab at it to lift it up. Just kind of working back and forth on those values. You don't really want to leave any like hard lines in like cheeks and stuff like that. They don't really exist in nature unless like somebody is like, I don't know, really gaunt or something. Like like they've seen really bad days or something. What about you guys? You guys have any weekend plans? I feel like I asked that already, but I didn't see anybody saying anything. Smooth some of this out. Let's see, right above her eye. Be as lazy as possible. There you go. That's actually the right answer. I mean, I swear that's my everyday. Like, I would love to be as lazy as possible. When I say that I try to keep busy, it's busy doing things like this. This isn't work. This is fun. I mean, some things you're supposed to spend time and effort on. Art is one of them, I think, if you're an artist. If you're an artist, you really don't have any choice. You're kind of called to it. Like, I wasn't going to do a second picture yesterday or whatever day it was. Um, but, like, you start thinking about a picture, and you start obsessing about a picture, and then eventually you just got to do that picture. Hey, Crump. How's it going, man? Just hanging out, drawing pictures on a Friday. Um, for those of you guys who weren't here at the beginning, this is I like to call these things like for pooping sometimes. Yeah. Um, so I like to call these like messy charcoal pictures. Is where I just scribble and then I try to find a face in it. It's a lot of fun. And I did one earlier in the week. It was a lot of fun. Like I used to do a lot of these, and then I started doing some other things, trying to learn other skill sets. And I kind of miss this because like that looks weird right now. Um, I kind of miss doing these because they are so much fun. So like a little bit of teeth in there that you can see, and I'll define that a little bit better here. But just wanted to get started on that. You really have to have like a lot of imagination to do these pictures because like there are no clear guides here. You're literally creating them for yourself out of nothing. That's another reason why I like doing these kind of pictures. You're creating something out of nothing, like not just nothing. You're creating something out of chaos, which is a lot more fun, like it's different if you just sat down like with a pencil and paper. Hey, thanks, man. It's different when you sit down with a pencil and paper, like a mechanical pencil, even where you can like get a lot of fine detail, and you just like precisely draw lines. And I do that kind of stuff, um, in like a lot of the styles that I do. Um, but it's not like this. This is starting with chaos and carving out something out of it. I just love that. I love the thought of that. You know. Because, like, I don't know, it's like a metaphor for life. Life is messy. You want to carve something pretty out of it. Thanks, Marvel. It was just charcoal scribbles. I mean, it's still charcoal scribbles. We'll get there. We'll get there. But like, hopefully those of you who do draw, um, I mean, this isn't for everybody. Like, it is dirty. Like, I can feel the charcoal on my desk here and stuff. Obviously, it's all over my hands. If you're like a neat freak, you will not enjoy this kind of drawing. But if you like to get messy, I encourage you guys to actually try this because it is a lot of fun, and you know it it's it's easier than you might think. Like it looks like it's difficult, but it's really not. Because once you draw that messy charcoal, right? Um, you do kind of have like, I mean, you have to use your imagination, right? But it's like looking at the clouds. You do have these things to work off of. Um, so you're not like left to the chaos, you know. You start with chaos and you move out away from it. You, like I know this sounds lame or like I don't know. I don't mean this to be as profound as it sounds, but like you're literally moving your ways, you're finding your way out of the chaos. I just love that idea. Just like poetic, you know. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, oh, I love that book, and the movie was cool too. It's not meant to look like anybody in particular. I do have like a reference model, but she's just some lady, and I always change it up a little bit anyway, because I don't want to just like actually just copy a photo or anything like that. Um, I try for a likeness from the original picture, but sometimes there's surprising results. Like the picture I did on Tuesday, a lot of people said it looked like that. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Uh, the girl from Euphoria, and that was not my intent, but I agree with them. It kind of looks like her. Yeah, you guys are all stuck on French stuff lately. The French aesthetic. I would love to go to France. If I went to France, I'd be the nerd that spends all my time at the Louvre. Like, I would go there on a pilgrimage. That's how much I love that museum. Yeah, this is looking cool. All right, so she's got a little bit of shadow. It's really, so a lot of it is like just, you know, I like to call it chasing shadows because that's really what you're doing. There's a song um, by that, and it gets stuck in my head whenever I'm doing these pictures. I think I've used it on one of my shorts before. But anyway, you're just chasing the shadows here. Hey, Husker Du. Hey, Ben. Hey, everybody. What's that from? Hey, everybody. That's from something. Man, I must sound like a real dork. I I go back and I watch some of these live streams and I cringe at myself. Like I am such a dork. Hey, everybody. That's gotta be from something. It sounds so familiar. What is that? Like, oh, it's like a little blue dude. Let's see. How do I do this without getting? This is so hard to do. Like when you're reaching across the page paper. All right, I'm gonna anchor my hand like this, and if I get a little bit of charcoal in it, that's fine. Got to do these eyelids, and you have to like anchor your hand so that you don't end up drawing like a squiggly line or something like that. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, The Simpsons. Wait. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Nick. Okay, all right. Sorry, I had to read a couple of comments up. Yeah, Dr. Nick. Hey everybody. Hey everybody. Yeah, Dr. Nick. All right, sorry. Like I don't know why I'm so excited about that. Man, I used to watch a lot of Simpsons. I haven't watched any lately. Hey everybody. Oh, now that's gonna be stuck in my head all weekend. It sucks. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I wouldn't. This is definitely not a like a fetching. That dude's a master. That dude is a master at expressive paintings where he just does this stuff that just like is so amazing, and he's so free and loose with his brush strokes. Um, and he just makes it look like I don't know, it's just amazing stuff. I don't have words for it. Definitely not a fetching. I wonder if I ever saw one of those in person. The guy I would like to be a model is a painter. The one that I would actually put time and effort into trying to pull it off because I think I could get some semblance of it is Sargent, John Singer Sargent. That guy was amazing too. And so prolific. Like he created so many pictures. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, hit the like button and all that jazz. I don't know what that does, but they say that you're supposed to hit that stuff. Smash it. See a little bit of shadow across here. The reference picture I'm looking at, she's actually really lit up. Like there's like a lot of highlights in it. So I'm kind of having to guess at some of these shadows and kind of emphasize the shadows just because it is a charcoal picture, and I like to put a lot of contrast in them. Yeah, you kind of smooth this out. I kind of feel like girls would be better at doing this kind of stuff, like drawing this kind of stuff, because it is almost like applying makeup, which I am not in the habit of doing. Like I feel like if you're good at applying makeup, you would probably be good at drawing. You just have to take your time with it. And if you're bad at applying makeup, you might still be good at drawing. I just think that if you are good at drawing makeup, you're probably going to be good at drawing. Painting the face. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. All right, so hit that like button. But don't just hit it because you want to bump it up. Hit it if you actually like the picture. Because otherwise it confuses the hell out of me. Because like sometimes somebody dislikes one of my videos. I don't know why. Like, but sometimes people dislike my videos, and I assume it's because they dislike my picture. And so if that's the reasoning, then I only want people to like my videos if they like my picture. And I won't take it personally either way. Like if you hate my picture for whatever reason, like I don't know why people hate my pictures. They're not that bad. They don't know how much fun they are. I feel like I feel like if they just allow themselves to have fun with messy charcoal, then oh okay, cool. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jason. Tell Sasha I said hi. What's the joke? Tell your mama said hi too. The old mom jokes. All right, so I think the angle on this nose is a little bit off. Bring that back in a little bit. Yeah, I really don't know Marvel. Like sometimes like on the shorts, um I don't know why they might give it a thumbs down. Like for all I know, they're disliking the song I picked, which, that's their business. I don't usually take well, not even usually. I don't take offense to it just because like really I have like no idea what they're disliking. Are they disliking my picture? Are they disliking my voice? Like, I mean, I don't like my voice. Um, so, how can I be upset? I have no idea what they're disliking. That's pretty good, Jason. Yeah, it's very rare. And then the other weird thing is like do not understand YouTube at all. So like sometimes I'll get like a dislike, right? And it's like, oh, okay, well, whatever. They don't like the song that I picked. They don't like the picture I drew. They don't like the subject matter or something. Whatever. That's their business. But then I'll get like two more dislikes, right? So like three dislikes, and I'm like, oh man, that's a conspiracy. Um, and I don't understand why. And then I'll come back and check, and YouTube, for whatever reason, just like removed two of the dislikes. So then I'm like down to one dislike, and then I'm like, well, that's weird. What is that? Like bots or something? Like why? Like I can't picture somebody coming in and disliking something, and then coming back and then removing the dislike. Like on multiple occasions, by the way. This has happened on several of my videos. Um, so I don't know what that is. Like I don't know if that's just like bot behavior or, you know, some sort of like YouTube cleanup or YouTube miscounted how many dislikes. I really don't know there. I think YouTube's broken, to be honest, like on that kind of stats. That's why I don't pay attention to it. It's kind of it's kind of a little weird. Treasure hunt. If you put up a prize, I'll draw pictures for it and I'll create clues. I would love to run a treasure hunt. That'd be awesome. Or I wouldn't want to run a treasure hunt. I would like to draw pictures that are used as clues. There you go. Running a treasure hunt sounds problematic. A lot of weirdos out there. Lips are weird. It's hard to draw lips for me. I think I'm getting better at it, but they're right up there with ears on difficult things to draw. Um, I keep saying this, and one of these days I'll actually do it. I need to just sit down with paper and just draw a bunch of eyes, mouths, and ears. Like not even the rest of the face. Just I know it sounds a little bit weird, but for like practicing, that's probably the way to go about it. That's how I saw that other people do it. I didn't go to school for this stuff, so I don't really know. Yeah, I don't I have no idea. I mean, you guys have been on YouTube for a while. You kind of know that people dislike anything for any number of reasons. That's why, like, honestly, no one should take offense to it. It's just so what. If you don't like, and like for example, like say somebody did actually dislike this picture. Hey, so what? Stick around, maybe you'll like the next one. I mean, it's not like I don't crank out like a million of these things. Like if you don't like this one, maybe then you'll like the next one. I don't know. Yeah, there's better things to worry about in life than whether or not random strangers like your art. I mean, it would probably be different, I guess, if like if you're like a professional, right? Like you have to draw pictures and stuff to like earn a living, and like that's what you do, right? And then you know you're on a downward trend or something where like people just hating your work like a lot. Like people didn't like Picasso's pictures at first. People thought it was weird. Cubism when it first came out, they were like, "What is this weird art? It's not realistic. It's not anything like that. Like I don't understand it." It took a while before that caught on, and you know, imagine if he just gave up. You know, you wouldn't have billion-dollar paintings nowadays. That's probably exaggerating. Probably like half a billion. Let's see. All right, let me define this nose a little bit more. But I know some of you guys also have channels and also create art. I want you guys to that because I really believe this. Like, don't pay attention to YouTube. when it comes to evaluating whether or not your art is any good or whether your art will ever be good or any of that stuff, because YouTube can't tell you. YouTube cannot tell you, because like, first off, if you get 5 people to watch your video and 3 of them hate your video, you might be like, well, that's more than half of the people who hate my video, but that is like not a good sample set, right? You need to get like 1,000 people to watch your video. And then if like a lot of people hate your video or hate your art, then you probably need to reevaluate your art. But like 5 people does not make a good sample set. That's just basis. That's statistics, guys. Gotta smooth out this nose a little bit. Looks a little grainy. But I will tell you this, if you don't create art, give it a shot, guys. This is so much fun. Like even if you create bad art, it doesn't matter. It's really about like just being creative and expressing yourself and things like that. Actually, I don't really like that. Like people say expressing yourself. Like I don't think I'm actually expressing myself in this picture. Um, so I'm not going to use that term. I'm going to say just creating something, because that is true and that is a lot of fun. Like you're bringing something out of a page that wasn't there before. You're inventing things that weren't there before. That is actually really cool. And I do think that anybody can do it. Like people, not everybody can like create really great works of art or anything like that. I don't know what a really great work of art. Well, I do know Nikolai Fechin, but I don't think that that's really what it's about. I think it's about having fun creating stuff, and anybody can do that. Like you can do stick figures, and if you think stick figures are boring, you guys haven't seen those animated videos where it's 2 stick figures fighting with swords. That is brilliant. So don't tell me you can't create interesting art, because anybody can create that. That's more technical skill than like drawing skill. Like you just have to know how to use the animation programs. Right? Thank you, Packer Jack, because I do actually consider myself like a performance artist. I don't just draw pictures. I perform pictures. That's the way I look at it. So that takes a lot of the burden off, right? So like you're not trying to be a great artist, you're trying to create a good performance. So what does that mean? Like, well, I'm trying to create a good picture while actually chatting with you guys, having a good time, you know. Hopefully you guys are at least a little entertained here, and it's not boring. Um, some people have literally said that they've watched these things to fall asleep, and that is a performance. So if you watch this to fall asleep, I'm not going to criticize you for that, and I'm not going to hold that against you. But yeah, it's more of a performance than a drawing. I don't think you can hang that in a gallery or take that to like a art show. One of these days, I got to draw comic book characters because I do want to actually get a booth at a Comic Con sometime, just so I can. Because I would always go to Comic Cons and admire other people's art and stuff. And if I'm drawing pictures anyway, I should draw some comic related stuff so that I have something to take to a Comic Con. But I'll worry about that over the winter probably, because I think the next Comic Con around here isn't until like March. So that gives me something to do over the winter. So when I get into like things away from the face, I'm less careful with that. Just kind of carve things out and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Most of this stuff just kind of falls off the page anyway. All right. So I'm going to move back to the eyes and actually, let's see, how are we doing on time? Oh, okay, 1 hour. Cool. Let's see. Get some eyelashes in here. I always forget and do the eyelashes before I put highlights on that upper eyelid, and I have to draw around the eyelashes, so I'm just going to go ahead and put in some highlights up here. This this white pencil kind of puts in some highlights, but it also kind of blends things, makes it nice and smooth, which I like. Because like when I'm doing these messy charcoal pictures, I usually define where the eyes are going to be just with like a big dump of shadows, right? So that's no good because like that's not actually how it's supposed to look. And this particular pencil kind of sucks. It ends up making like kind of like this grayish tone. So I come back over it and create like some more opaque highlights later. Hey kid, yeah, I'm on this messy charcoal kick this week. Probably next week I'll try something else just to keep it interesting and vary things up. But this week, I don't know. It's just like a lot of fun. I miss it. I used to do a lot of these. I like drawing eyes. If you can pull off an eye, you can pull off a picture or a portrait at least. Yeah. Blend some of this around the eye. Sorry, when I'm working on these details and stuff, I become less chatty. So don't mind me. So the underneath the eye, there's always this line that's not always, but most of the time, there's always this like highlighted line as well. And I always forget to put that in, so I have to put it in and then come back and fix what I already did. So you get like whenever you put your hand against the paper, but it's part of the process. Any of you guys like Anne Rice fans? I finally got around to watching Interview with the Vampire series on AMC. It's pretty good. Like if you guys are looking for something to watch and you guys are Anne Rice fans, I highly recommend it. I started watching like the Mayfair Witches, which I don't like as much, but it's okay as well. I was a big Anne Rice fan back in the day. Like on this bookshelf over here, like uh, a lot of those are Anne Rice books. It's like have trouble getting. If you're not Anne Rice fans, I highly recommend her books. They're um, very dense on details. So like she recently passed away in the last couple of years, but she wrote a lot of books on like supernatural things like vampires, werewolves. Until she got like on a religious kick and she wrote about like Jesus a lot, but for the most part, she's known for writing like books about vampires and stuff like that. And she lived in New Orleans. And the way she describes New Orleans, it's almost like another character in the book. The city is, it's a lot like I describe like Batman movies. So they're like, this isn't the same topic, but I always feel like in Batman movies, there's a couple of things that you have to get right. Like you have to get Batman right, you have to get Bruce Wayne right, you have to get a Batmobile in there, and then the other thing that a lot of people overlook is the city itself, Gotham City. Those are actual characters in the book, like even the city itself. And I feel like that's the same with Anne Rice's book. The city of New Orleans is trying to work long in the tooth. That's a vampire joke. Good one. I like it. Um, but yeah, like the city of New Orleans is actually basically a character in the book. It's so well developed, I guess. Oh, kettle corn, yum. Yeah, I'm going to like an art fair tomorrow, and they're gonna have kettle corn, so I'm going to pick some up. They're also gonna have beer from the local brewery, so that's exciting. I like going to festivals where I can walk around with an open container because they don't allow that at most of the other time. Like during the summertime, you definitely want to be walking. Well, not everybody, I realize there's some kids in here, but um, as an adult, as a drinking adult, you want to walk around with the beer when you're looking at art or wine. Wine is fun for art viewing as well. All right, now that I'm happier with the eyes, let me turn back to this mouth here because I'm not totally happy with it. I want to smooth this out a little bit. And I wish I had a finer like eraser. Like I always have to knead this into like a fine point and stuff, and it never holds the pressure that I want it to get like some of these finer details in here in terms of highlights, like some of the smaller areas. But I try. Take my time with it, I guess. And these things are so sticky. I actually love these kneaded erasers. I mentioned before they're kind of like my stress ball. I just kind of like wad them up into like balls and then I like turn them into snakes and playing with your art supplies is fun. Let's see. This is too dark over here, so let me lighten that up. Sometimes I'm removing whole areas of shadow. Um, oh, you got a new gallery there, Crump? Don't tease me, bro. I'm a desperate artist. I'm looking for a gallery. No, I'm just kidding. 6 bucks, 6 bucks 50 per square inch. I mean, that's not that bad actually. Okay, I'll lighten this up a little bit. That was a bit dark. All right, so I need to. What am I needing to do here? I need a little bit of highlight over here. It's the little details too. So like, I was just looking at her eyes, figuring out like what's next, and I realized that was a little bit dark there. So like just picking at it a little bit, and probably I don't do these things justice in trying to do them all in like one sitting because I always find little mistakes that I can correct. Like if there's a mistake that I can't correct, it just is what it is. But if I can correct a mistake, it ends up just being a better piece. So it's like the little details, really. Just a lot of little details. So a lot of push and pull on the art. All right, let's try to make this neck look so less weird. Let's move some of this out, maybe lift some of this up. I'm going to actually move to my bigger thing. I've only got like two I use. I bought a whole set of these, and the only things I use is this little tiny one and this big fat one. I should probably vary it up a little bit. There's like probably actual professional artists out there who watch this YouTube like amateur. You can make that a lot easier on yourself. Newbie. A witch's wart, yeah. The short you did yesterday would have been creepy if she had glowing eyes. She came out, and I don't think I intended it, but I agree, she definitely came out very intense. Um, she's over there on the wall scowling at me. Like that lady, she means business. I didn't intend for her to be so intense. Um, that's why I kind of wanted to go softer on this picture. Like, I don't know if you noticed or not, but this is like kind of a soft kind of picture. I don't know what I was thinking when drawing her, but the one I did yesterday. But she came out looking very intense. Like she wanted to right some wrong or something like that. Who made the comment? Somebody made a comment in the on the video. Like, I think I think it was Rome. If Rome is still in here, Rome commented, yeah, I think I owe her child support or something. That's how stern she looks. Like she's out to collect something. And she ain't giving up until she gets it. That was not my intent. I didn't mean for her to come out so stern looking. But anyway, yeah, Jeremy creates women who hate him. There's probably some truth to that, actually. I don't want to go into details, but I probably do that. Not intentionally. I'm actually I try to be a nice guy. But no, you know, I mean, guys and girls, they don't always get along. Yeah, there probably is a little bit of truth to that, but not intentionally. Yeah, I've been sipping at this. I'm a sipper. I don't mind that the ice melts, because like it actually tastes better with a little bit of water in it. That's a pro tip, guys. Yeah, drink your whiskey with a little bit of water. It brings out the flavor. All right, so I'll come back to the face a little bit more later, but we're at an hour and 13 minutes. I'm going to tinker with the hair a bit. Sometimes I forget the bourbon's there. So I don't know. Maybe you were in that stream, Jason. I'm a little scared of my bourbon, or like drinking bourbon on camera because I was doing a watercolor picture, and I kind of mixed up the bourbon for my glass of water for the paints, and I actually drank the paint water, which is not good. So I might have to rethink whether it's smart to drink while doing a live stream and being distracted and creating art. I don't know. Like I enjoy um, having a glass of bourbon while drawing. I don't think it hurts or improves the art any. Like I don't think I don't think it's part of the process. I'm trying to find some of the darker areas in the hair. Kind of just kind of sketch those in. And then, like if I overdo it, I can still lift some of this charcoal up. Like I say it every time I work in charcoal, but I just love charcoal as a medium. It is so versatile. You can do so much with it. Um, Really any dry medium. I need to like it's been a few since I worked with pastels, and they're a dry medium as well. You can kind of do the same thing with them. I've done a couple of pictures where I've done the kind of messy pastel picture. What I like about pastel, what I don't like about pastels, and this is not pastels themselves, but just my own ability. I'm still working on getting better at working with color in general. So like sometimes it's tough for me to find the right color, blend colors, get colors to work together without it just being like, I don't know, like an incomprehensible mess. But when everything is working right, what I like about pastels is that you can kind of layer them. So like here, I'm not really doing any layering. I'm uh, I'm creating shadows and then I'm carving out highlights and stuff. With pastels, you can use colors on top of colors and kind of build it up like paint. And I like that. I've always liked pastels. A lot of fun. I don't really want to draw individual hair lines in here. I've done that in the past on some of these charcoal pictures, and I don't like it. I like the blocks of color or blocks of shadow on this on these hairs. So I don't know what kind of shirt she's wearing. I want her to be wearing a shirt, so I'm just going to kind of give her a generic shirt line. Something kind of like it just kind of comes up over the shoulder here. I don't want to like add a lot of definition to it just because I think that might just be a bit much. But I'm just going to add this little bit of a line so that kind of like, less is more, kind of lets you know that there is a shirt going on here. And I'm doing that so that I can kind of define her shoulder. 'Cause that's really what I actually care about. Like the form of the person, not the shirt. I'm not a fashion artist. Hey, Lorraine, do a drawing of K-Pro? I could do a drawing of K-Pro. I think it might actually. Um, I don't know if somebody suggested this or if they requested. I don't know, but like I think Mike mentioned at some point doing a picture of them. I could do that. I think a couple picture would be kind of cool. I don't dislike Mike and K-Pro. I just dislike some of their ideas sometimes. I think that's natural. Yeah, there you go, Lorraine. That's what I need. I need some sort of tactile reminder, like, well, wrong glass. I kind of like the shirt. I like it. Kind of has like almost like an angular thing to it, almost like she's wearing like a blazer or something like that. In fact, I think I don't know. I don't want to get too cut. Like I don't want to overdo the this area. This area is fine, I think. But I think she's wearing like kind of a blazer or something like that. That's what I'm going with. All right, so back to the hair. I like to jump around a bit. I don't know if you guys notice that. I do like creating a lot of contrast to kind of frame in the face. So like even if she has blonde hair, I might go a little bit dark on it just to even blondes, their hair is sometimes dark. But I kind of want that sort of like framing of the face. One, I think it looks cool, and two, it kind of hides some of the mistakes that you made on the so like right here, it's really hard to tell where face stops and hair begins, right? So like I can I can add in some lines to better define that cheek and the contour of her face. So like it's not like a perfect line here. You would have a little bit of a hump that comes around because like whatever anatomy is here in your mouth area, it kind of protrudes, right? I always do that. I'm going to end up with charcoal. The other day, I said I was going to end up with charcoal on my face, and I did. I had a big streak of charcoal down my nose, and I keep telling myself, "Stop doing that, Jeremy." I imagine it's kind of like a baker or something with like flour all over their face at the end of the day. Anyway, my point was anatomy. Yeah, so like you have kind of a curve here. It's not just straight down, depending on, which I'm not sure I've done. I'm not sure I've done any at this particular angle. This is probably a new angle for me. But I like it. I like that she's got her head, tilted and kind of looking up and stuff. It's a very soft composition. I like it. I'm gonna use a blending stump just because I have fat fingers and there's no way I can get those in there. I mean, they're not. I don't know, they're not that bad, but they're big. I got piano player fingers. I got keyboard striking fingers. That's what I got. Guitar plucking fingers. I'm just making up things now. Kind of soft wisps of hair. I don't know. Actually, I like that. Yeah, cool. And it is tough as an artist to decide like what you want to highlight, like behind, right? So like this stuff around. Um, you know, good luck trying to figure that out. I don't know. Maybe there's some science to it or something like that, but like I know when it's too much and I know when it's too little, but I don't know. Like I just kind of mess with it and stuff until I kind of like it. Smooth some of that out. I think go back to this one. Get that a lot smoother. I kind of want to lighten it up too. Like this area through here, a little bit lighter. So let me pull some of that stuff up. It kind of comes around that. And then there's kind of like, maybe I'll do that with the white pencil. So there's kind of like a reflected light along her chin. I'll lightly pencil that in. Kind of want that to be smoother than I have it, but I'll try to blend it out. Make sure I check this stuff. Hey, Tom, how's it going, man? Let's see. Hey, Billy, I don't think I said hi to you earlier. I know you've been in here for a while. I just recalled that I don't think I said hi. Who else is in here that I forgot to say hi to? Um, Crump is in here. Hey, Tyler's in here. How's it going, man? So, a little bit. Blend this out. All right. Now, she's got hair that kind of comes down across her face here, but because it's light on, well, because it's over dark, it's going to come out light, right? So like I'll do these with the pencil as well. And I like doing these little wisps of hair, both in dark and light when appropriate. Because and I'm still practicing with these, but you kind of just let your pencil walk across the page and do what it wants, right? And this is usually where I kind of screw things up, because like I don't know, it's kind of hard to erase them. You can kind of go back over them and kind of hide them, but I also don't want to go overboard and do too many of them and so on. So it's um it's something I haven't mastered yet, but I'm working on it. So like I will put in wisps of hair whether or not there's wisps of hair in the reference photo or not, just because I want to practice those. And then, like if you kind of go over them, like say you did some light ones and then you kind of go over them with some dark ones and stuff, it creates that kind of depth, I guess. So that's kind of cool. And then through here, I think there were some other darker ones that I wanted to put in kind of. And then I did kind of want to blend this one out. That's a bit much. You can just kind of blend the ends and stuff if you want, but I can live with that. Cool. This is fun. Um, so let me go up here and start messing with this here. Let me take a sip of my. Yeah, Tyler's all about that Cody stuff. He's been telling me that he's reading a book on Cody, um, like the life of Buffalo Bill Cody. That's kind of interesting. I should do a portrait of Buffalo Bill Cody for Tyler. That would be awesome. I don't know. Are people into like historical portraits? This is always so awkward where I'm like reaching around. I've always been doing different types of styles of hair too. Like, I don't know, if you're doing like a portrait, you can really do it any way you want, but I like to vary it up on hairstyles because people do have like all different types, right? So like sometimes I like to do curly hair, wavy hair. I think I think it's important to practice different hairstyles. I've said it before, and I'll say it again just because like I'm kind of on that topic right now. Um, you have so many challenges as an artist, especially like a portrait artist. Well, actually, any kind of artist who does any kind of like try to realistic drawing. So like you have to have a basic understanding of anatomy. You have to have a basic understanding of fashion. You have to have a basic understanding of hairstyling. It's nuts. All the different things you have to know, or at least be responsible for getting realistic. Like if that's your art style, like you're going for realism or something, um, you have to know like different time periods. Like obviously this hairstyle would work in certain time periods, but not in others. Um, Fashion definitely. So like some things are kind of like a classic fashion, like I don't know, like a dress of some sort, but certainly like a hoop skirt. Women don't wear hoop skirts anymore, so you draw a woman wearing a hoop skirt, you know that it's going to be the 1800s or something like that, just because you know that's when they're warm. Um, so it's like all these little things that you just have to be somewhat conscious of. Like you don't have to stress yourself about it, but I mean that's where the reference photos come in. So like it's you don't have to worry about it too much because you can just dig up reference photos of the time period of the thing that you're trying to portray. To kind of like orientate yourself. And don't get me wrong, it's not like it's all stressful and work and stuff. Like some of that stuff's fun. You're doing like research. Um, and I'm not saying I do any of these things. I just draw pictures. But I'm just talking about like art in general. Like imagine you're painting a picture of I don't know, Abraham Lincoln, right? And you give him like a watch or something. That's just not accurate. Now maybe you're doing it to make a statement or something like that, and that's certainly if you draw a picture of Abraham Lincoln and you have him like with a like an Apple Watch or something like that, you're making some sort of statement. Probably you're creating an advertisement or something for Apple Watches, but that kind of stuff stands out. So like you have to at least be able to account for it. A charcoal redhead. I can say that this one's a redhead. How's that for you? She's just got a very dark shade of red. You don't know that because she's in black and white, but yeah, this one's a redhead. If I was trying to do a redhead, I would probably use very similar techniques, but I would do it in pastel pencils and stuff because I can do a redhead. Like, stay tuned. I'll get around to it because I do enjoy drawing redheads just because it's such a striking visual um, on the colors. So give me some time. I'll get around to drawing a redhead. I don't want to like just draw women either. I want to kind of vary it up a little bit, but I don't know. Like these portraits are fun, and I do have I do have a few guys that I've drawn in charcoal as well, but it's a little more challenging for me because there's more going on in a guy's face, like we've got all of this stuff going on. Yeah, redhead with green eyes. That's a good choice. Like wrinkles and stuff like that. Women are nice and smooth. They're easy to draw. Not all women, but you get the idea. I should try to do like an older woman with wrinkles just to try that. So I'm kind of lightly going over it, just trying to get a few little areas of highlights in there. All right, so I think that's kind of cool. Um, I don't know if what time are we at? All right, so we're about an hour and a half into this. I'm not sure I'm happy with this mouth yet, so I'm gonna tinker with this mouth since I have the time. So like I said, I do want a little bit of tooth showing, but not much. And the teeth aren't. So the other thing that you need to think about as an artist is like what happens with teeth when they're actually behind, lips that are like this and kind of lost in shadow. Well, obviously they're not going to be like gleaming white. So you just kind of hint at some teeth, and I'm not all that great at it. I run the risk of giving her like buck teeth or whatever those are actually properly called. I don't know if buck teeth is actually the proper term for it, but that's what we always call them. I don't want to do that. Just a little bit of teeth showing through, which I think that's a nice, like, it's a little bit blurry here, but I think that that's a good medium. So The side over here is going to be a lot lighter. Ugh, I don't want to tinker with this too much because I actually kind of like this. But this should be a lot lighter. Let me pull some of that charcoal out. All right, Billy. Control yourself, buddy. It's just a drawing. But I do actually want her to have a nice mouth. So let me work on it here. So I think that's fine. Then there would be kind of like a hard line here. And I think the rest is highlights, which I'll work on. One of the reasons I like going to art fairs is because, which is what I'm doing this weekend. Hey, thanks, Rome. Um, Proper term is dental misfortune. I love that. Um, one of the reasons I like going to art fairs is like you can look at pictures online. It's the same reason I like going to like art museums and art galleries and stuff like that. You can look at pictures online, but I like to get up close to them and kind of like work out, techniques like how the person actually pulled it off, like try to mine it for any kind of details that I can use, which, you know, like I know that's not really what the person behind the the person at the gallery or the art fair behind the booth. There we go. Man, this bourbon. um, I know the person behind the booth really wants me to buy their art, but I'm there just looking for tips. So that's why I look forward to them. And this one's pretty good. There's another one. So this one's in Lexington, and there's another one later on this fall. Like some of you guys know Copper Dan. He actually goes to this one and sells his art. The one in fall, like October, I think. I don't know. I have it on my calendar. That one's out in Louisville, and I'm gonna go to that. Hopefully, I'll get to see Copper Dan there. Um, you know, cross him off my list of people to meet. And he does these like copper pieces, which are pretty amazing. I mean, like the guy, don't like the guy, you got to appreciate the guy's art. But anyway, so like this one's smaller scale, but I think it'll be there's a lot of talented people who are going to be there, so I'm looking forward to it. Maybe I'll take some pictures and report back to you guys. So there's a highlight here. I don't know if this is lip gloss or like an actual highlight, but through here it kind of gets lit up a little bit. All right, so now the challenging part. I gotta create this ridge across. Don't mind me, guys. I'm gonna be staring at this for a minute. Let's see. Gotta get these like little white specks in a line. And like lean in really close to get it right. And then this is really hard because I'm using this like chunk here and trying to use this sharp end here to like actually do stuff. But yeah, so again, it's kind of blurry, but this that line of like reflection off of like I don't know what women wear like lip gloss or whatever it is. Maybe her makeup is reflective. I don't know how it works, but I think that that looks really good. Try to round this off a little bit. That's cool. Um, soften this up a little bit. I think that's pretty decent. And then I like to pull up the corners, like a little soft smile, I guess. I don't know. Or just these parts right here naturally kind of not Joker style or whatever, but they kind of like kind of curl up on the ends. So a little bit of depth to that. So really just the more time you spend with the piece, the better it starts looking. So like I don't know. Like there's a point where you have to stop, but until you get to that point, every little bit improves it. So I'm pretty happy with that. There's like a line that comes across here. Some lines in there. All right. So I think it's some really, really bright. So you might see that I switched to this. This is a soft pastel by Rembrandt. It's so soft that it's really good at like adding white over other parts, right? So like if I come in and I use this, I know it's going to be like super bright, which is what I want on these like the whites of her eyes. And then I think that that's fine. Let's see, can I get like a little bit of white there? Sorry, I get really quiet when I'm working on these parts. Sorry about that. All right, so I think that that's really nice and highlighted. And I'm using like the edge of this just to kind of create kind of like some sharp lines. And then her nose needs some highlights as well. And honestly, coming back over some of this charcoal with like some of these highlights and stuff really just kind of catches the light. Like you can see on my own nose, right? If I don't get charcoal on it, um, that I've got like a lamp here, some various lights and stuff. But this part here is really highlighted. So you kind of want to capture those type of things in a well-lit subject, like this girl is. Um, whoever took the reference picture, they took the time to set up some proper lighting. It was probably part of a professional photo shoot or something like that. But just adding like these little highlights in the areas that are really lit up, like her cheekbones, for example, just really creates that 3D-ness to it. I always like wait until the end to do this, but let's see if I can blend that out a little bit. I kind of want that to be softer, so bring that out a little bit more. And I want to extend that out this way. Oh, Copper Dan's art? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Lorraine. Yeah, I want to see it in person, Lorraine. That's why so he says he goes to the what is it, St. James? Um I think it's St. James art fair in Louisville. And I think that's in October. He says he goes to that every year. So if he's watching this, I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna show up. He hasn't asked me if I want to show up, but I'm gonna show up anyway. And I think that'll be kind of cool because I want to see his stuff in person. It looks amazing online, but things look different in person. I'm not saying it's gonna look worse in person, but I do want to. I want to see it in person. The other thing about this, coming back over with these like little white areas, is there's a lot of texture to this picture. Like if when I go to put this up later, you'll see that there's like a lot of texture that's really great for skin tone. But when it comes to these highlights and stuff, this kind of smooths it out and covers up some of that texture, creating this really smooth kind of finish to it, I guess. Let's see, am I happy with all this down here? Not really. Let's see if I can kind of pull that out that way. Good enough. What does this look like? I'm trying to figure out who this looks like. Let's see if I can get some. Right? It comes from a charcoal mess. Thank you, Marvel, for bringing us back around to that. Big old charcoal mess becomes this picture. Lighten up some areas on her eyes. Again, this white part is, you know, partly to create highlights, but also to kind of smooth some areas out. Like it's kind of a fixer. All right, now I'm down to like little tiny things. So like I don't like that. Let me cover that up. Little subtle things. I wonder if I can create some, lighten up her eyebrows a little bit. I didn't mean them to be that dark. Yeah, I like that. Little subtle things. I don't know why I repeat myself so much. I do talk to myself a lot. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that. Like if they weren't so dark, I would do these all the time. But I don't, I like color, you know. I do need to get better at it. So I can't do these messy charcoal pictures all the time. But when I do them, man, it's so much fun, guys. It really is. It's a lot of joy for me. And I know they say like, you know, do what you love, right? And I kind of agree with that. But also, if you only do what you enjoy and you don't challenge yourself, you're never really going to progress. And I want to progress. I want to get better at my craft. And that means practicing a lot of things that I'm not good at. You know, like one might say, like, well, if you're not good at it, why do you put it on YouTube? I don't know. It's fun. Um, but I do believe that like you really should, you know, practice things that aren't in your comfort zone. So like I can't always just do what I enjoy. I have to do what I hate as well. Kind of want that blazer jacket, whatever I'm calling it, to be a little bit darker. All right, I think I'm getting close to being done on this. Like at this point, any additional things would just be like extra bonuses, and I'm not really sure what sort of pick me ups I can get on fixing errors or whatever. I think I don't know if I'm completely happy with this mouth, but I don't want to tinker with it too much and make it worse. I think it's good enough. It's a purty mouth, as Billy was saying. Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, you know, like I would say that probably my first couple of streams, um, I didn't really know what to talk about, but now that I've been doing these things, I'm starting to realize, like, yeah, I do have some insight because There are some things that I've learned, and things that I think others would benefit from. That these are none of the stuff is rocket science. It's not like I'm saying anything that you couldn't find somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, it may be stuff that others haven't thought of or something like that, and I'm happy to pass it along. And plus, I don't know, maybe I say something in a way that resonates with you when the exact same information wouldn't resonate with you coming from somebody else. That happens. Like, people um people hear the same thing from two different people, and it doesn't always stick with one person when it does with the other person. So like I'd rather take advice from a friend than somebody on TV, for example, right? Even if they're saying the same thing. All right. I think that's okay. Let me look at it and see. I wanted this to be really light. See, it's like these little things at the end. Like this little highlight up here. I think it's just really going to make your eyes pop. And then a little bit of light coming off up here. Lights and shadows, my friends. Just following the lights and shadows here. Sometimes when you go over something several times, like with light colors, you have to come back and add some dark things that kind of got lost. That's kind of what I'm doing here. I think. All right, that's good enough. Yeah, I think this is yeah. So like I appreciate that, Marble, because that's really the truth of it. So like it's not just tips on how to improve your art, because I feel like I don't have a lot of those, but I do have a lot of insight on how to like be happy with your art, because like the thing and really I can see it a bunch of different ways, but it really comes down to like don't stress it, because like we're all gonna hate our art. It's just a simple fact, because like I don't know, we created it and we see the flaws, right? But like I feel like I really feel like this is true. When other people look at it, they don't see the same mistakes that we see. Like we see things that we tried to improve, and we just weren't able to, right? That's not what they're looking at. They're looking at the things that we did accomplish that they're fascinated by. And, you know, if I had any bit of advice, it would just be like, don't beat yourself up. And here's the important part, right? You're judging yourself based on like the art you create now. Like, this is just a stepping stone to better art, right? Like this is me today, and this is me today that's better than yesterday. Um, if I stick with this for like another 5 years, maybe I'll be happy with it. I don't know. I'm happier with this than I was happy with some of the stuff I was creating back in February, which was all garbage. Um, so yeah, if you're a new artist or you're just getting started or something like that, and you're not really confident in your work, I don't think you're meant to be. That's part of the process. You're supposed to funnel that dissatisfaction into creating more art, and then creating more art every day. You just naturally end up better at it. You should try to learn an instrument. That shit's hard. Like I tried to learn how to play a violin earlier this year, and I have to get back to it. But I started messing with that, and man, if you want to talk about hard, this isn't hard. This is fun. All right, so I think that's about it. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Friday night. I like how this turned out. I'll put up I'll put it up on the community tab, and hopefully you guys like it as well. Sorry, I got a crappy camera where it's kind of blurry and stuff, but like I don't know if you guys noticed, but when I actually take the photo and put it up, there's some details and texture in here that you just can't see on camera. That's just the way it goes. I did want to show off my hand. Look at this mess. I love it. Anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Friday night. Let me go back to me. There you go. All right, so I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Friday night. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend, and I appreciate the compliments in the chat. You guys are awesome. You guys keep me going because, like, I don't run on like accolades and stuff like that, but I certainly do appreciate them. I hate my art same as anybody else, but the only thing I can say is just stick with it. I mean, you can see. There you go. You can see some of these pictures look better than others. It's just the way it goes. The idea is that, like, the more I do it, the better it'll get out of practice, and like what I lack in consistency will get better over time. But anyway, that's all I got. You can see the dogs are getting restless, so they're going to want to go out. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Friday night. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And if I don't create some more art this weekend, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. I am going to try to go out and create something maybe this weekend because, like, the summer days are getting shorter. So I want to take advantage of the nice weather. Hopefully it won't rain. But anyway, all right. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'll see you guys Tuesday. Have a good one. Bye.